Alright, it's time for some Druid cards. One of my favorite classes, I would say. Used to be my absolute favorite class. I don't know if I necessarily would say I have a favorite class anymore. But it's time for the Druid. Nature Studies. 1 cost Druid spell. Discover spell. Your next one costs 1 less. Simple, straight to the point. Useful? Maybe? Well, okay, so here's the thing. You're putting in a spell that gives you most likely something you want for technically 0, when you could have picked the spell anyway. I mean, yes, this could maybe set up a slightly different version where you could now do some combo you couldn't do before because it's a little cheaper. But, it seems weird, but I think it's still fine. Useful. Some kind of spell druid this would go in, maybe. Combo type thing, I would think. Where it's very focused on casting lots of spells to buff stuff. Maybe like a Malagos druid maybe could come back, I don't know. I'll give it a 6. I think it's very practical, just of what it is. Gibberlain. Gibberlain. Little fluffy animal? Probably. I would hope it's an animal. I don't... It just looks weird. 1 cost, 1/1 Druid card with a spell burst. Summon a Gibberlain. So the Gibberlain that is summoned also has the spell burst. So it's not like it multiplies very quickly. It's not like you got 1, now you got 2, now you have 4. It will go 1, 2, 3, 4. Because spell burst is only once. Again, probably some kind of spell druid. Probably not a combo then. Well, I think a Gibberlain like token thing could maybe be a thing, possibly. Because it does summon stuff very quickly. And it's a very cheap option as well for summoning lots of stuff. So very cheap, very quick way of getting lots of stuff on the board. Especially combined with the nature studies. I'll give it a 7. I think that's fair. 7 is good. Partner assignment. Man, what's up with all these cheap druid cards? 1 cost Druid spell, add a random 2 cost and 3 cost beast to your hand. This most likely would only be useful in a value type Druid, I would think. Maybe a spell Druid. But most people would probably rather just pick a 2 cost or 3 cost beast to put in their deck in the first place. But instead, this is just kind of a card that's giving you random ones, which it's more value because technically you're getting, instead of putting in a 2 cost beast, you get a 2 cost and a 3 cost, but they're random ones instead of getting to choose it. So I would say it's very fair in that perspective as well. For 1, it's not bad. Most likely only a value druid, though, or a spell-type druid. But not even a spell-type druid would probably work. Beast druid really isn't a thing as far as I'm aware. Probably still won't be after this expansion. But it's not a bad card. So I'm going to give it... I'll give it a 6. I think it's pretty decent. 5. Let's go 5. I think 5 is more along the line. Survival of the Fittest. 10 cost Druid spell. Give +4/+4 to all minions in your hand, deck, and battlefield. So just completely buffs everything you have. Instantly when I saw this card, I instantly thought, man, this would be really good for a, say it with me, token deck. Yeah, okay. I'm ridiculous sometimes. But no, I think a token deck, works quite well for this, especially. Because then when you're playing what used to be really small stuff is now a lot bigger. For example, if you were going with a Gibberlain token deck with Survival of the Fittest, instead of 1-cost 1/1s being summoned of Gibberlains, they're now 1-cost 5/5s that are being summoned with every spell you cast. I like it. I think it's actually quite strong. It goes back to the roots of Druid, where it was rampy and they just played a bunch of big stuff. Instead, you're always going to be playing big stuff. Like, if your opponent plays this and you can't stop them on, let's say, that kill them on that turn or the next turn, they basically win because they outvalue you, period, through at this point. You can't stop it anymore because your 5-cost 5/5 is now being countered by a 2-cost 5/6. Ridiculous value, really good. Twilight Runner, 5-cost 5/4 with stealth. When this attacks, you draw 2 cards. It is also a beast. Very good. It makes so much sense for... Well, okay, let me back that up. That didn't make any sense. Okay, what was I trying to say? Basically, this card's really good. That's basically what I'm saying. 5-cost 5/4 is a little understated at a 5 already. And then you draw 2 cards. This is good in most likely any Druid deck where you need some sort of card draw. Because you're basically guaranteed to draw 2 cards and probably take something also off the board. Which you basically cannot do with any other card. This card is seriously good, in my opinion. I think it's very good because you got that stealth to make sure it can at least attack once for 2 cards. Which 2 cards for 5 is okay. Most likely you do 3-cost, draw 2. That's the base that has been established. So basically what you're saying is you're drawing 2 for 3, and then you're playing a 2-cost 5/4 with stealth, basically. Which is so much good value, and it probably clears something off the board very easily. I gotta give this a 9, because it's that freaking good. Forest Warden 6-cost 5/4. Spellburst, refresh your mana crystals. When I initially saw this card, I did not realize Spellburst was only a one-time effect. So I apologize for that in my preview video. Whichever one that was that this was in. Might have been part 3, I'm gonna say. But, even though it's only one time, it's still good. You can still get plenty of value out of this. You can still pull off a combo with this. Because you can play this, you can do for exactly the 4 that you have left after playing him. Germination. I believe that's what it is. To copy him. This one casts the Spellburst. I don't think the other one would yet. Play Malygos. Moonfire to refresh your mana crystals one more time. And then maybe some other face damage spells to finish off your opponent. So I think this card is still very strong, even if I did it wrong the first time, my bad. I'm still going to give it a 7. It's a very good card, 7 out of 10. Completely playable, I believe. Very viable in this current meta as well. With the right type of combo that you get. You have to make, with combo decks, you always have to make it kind of controlly near the beginning so you can survive long enough to create to get your combo finished, basically. That's what, if you don't know much about Hearthstone, there's always been a triangle where combo beats control, control beats aggro, aggro beats combo. So for any combo deck, you do have a little bit of control in there to maybe stall out a little bit against, most likely it's going to end up stalling out against a control deck a little bit, which lets you get your combo together. That'll be it for the Druid cards. Next time, I will talk to you about the Warrior cards, which, as I know, and as you've probably seen in the previews, there's some pretty exciting cards in here, so we will get to that next time.